Hi, welcome to CFWE Live Talk. Tonight we got the one, the only, Thumper Chapman. You know my co-host, the myth, the legend. Wasn't it a has-been in there last time?
Uh, Pipe down, Thumper Chapman.
Jim Shires. Tonight we're going to do a little special live talk. And this is something that me and Mr. Shires has been talking about for a long time. And nobody was ever brave enough to come on live talk about it. So we decided that we were going to talk about it because apparently nobody wants to talk about it. What happened to professional wrestling? Now, in my day, when I first started, it was territories. You know that, and I know that. You had to battle your way to get in. You had to earn the right to get in the ring. You had to start off ring crew. You had to start off security. You just didn't automatically just jump in the ring. And I know it was like that for you. And, we found out that they've changed. It's like they've gotten more arrogant. There's not respect no more. Yeah.
Thumper, it's the reason that I see, between me, you, and a couple others, we've had close to 100 years in this business.
Yeah.
And for what I've seen is these promoters just let anybody and everybody in the ring,
Yep.
whether they're trained or not.
Yep.
And back in the day, when you had NWA, WCW, that filled the stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew who the bad guy was.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
who the good guy was. Nowadays, you can't tell who's who because they don't care.
Yeah.
They just want to get in there and dance around, have their hand raised, and that's it. I mean, I just don't understand what people are thinking now. They love the business, but yet they don't want to be trained correctly.
Yeah. And I think what it is, they're not properly trained. What it is because, we was at one show, and we're not gonna talk about no federations names. We're not gonna go nobody out on this.
No.
Even though we should, but we're not gonna do it because we're not gonna bash feds at all. I remember I seen this young kid walk in the back, and whenever I first came in there, and you were the rookie, you came in, you introduced yourself to everybody, and you sat in the corner, and you was quiet, and you listened, and you learned. Well, nowadays, they walk in, like they're The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin, and, they hit their music out, and in their minds, they've already got their self, they love me. I'm not going to work the crowd. I'm just going to raise my hand and go, how they love me. And all you hear is crickets out there. They don't work the fans no more. There's no respect in the locker room. I remember back in the day when two promoters tied up, the workers stayed quiet.
Yeah. But nowadays, everybody's getting into the conversation. And I see something else that is wrong with professional wrestling is a worker likes to come in and tell the promoter who he wants to work and how the finish was.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And no storylines anymore.
Yep.
I mean, yes, it is, but yet no. I mean, it's just...
They don't know how to carry them anymore.
No.
They
go so fast in that ring, especially the younger generation, goes 100 miles an hour. And if you're a wrestling fan, you can't tell the storyline. You don't know. How can you tell when you got a guy going 100 miles an hour throughout the ring? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if we can change it anymore because I think it's got so bad now that we're not going to be able to change it.
Well, I know me and you came to a few shows, and, and we've worked several shows. We've worked a few good shows, and we went and sat down. They offered us to work a few bad ones, but we turned them down. And we sit there and we're like, who's this guy? Who's this? Nobody knows who they are because, for one, this is my biggest beef. Nobody promotes themselves anymore. We used to bring our own T-shirts and our own pictures and all of our own products, and we used to sell it and we used to promote it. Now they're like, oh, well, the promoter's going to promote it. People, guess what? It's not the promoter's job to promote you. His job is to promote his federation. If you just happen to be there, you might get promoted. But I have not seen the first T-shirt. I've not seen the first autograph signing. I've not seen the first picture to be put out on the table for somebody to buy. I've seen a lot of concession stands. I've seen a lot of people with their hand out at the ticket office to collect the money for tickets. But that's about where it ends at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't promote yourself, guess what? You go stay in one state.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're not going
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like whenever we found out that we were going out, the CFWE was going out of state. Look how many people lined up and wanted to get on the card. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking down there and I'm checking off the boxes. Nope, can't work. Nope, don't promote yourself. Nope, bad attitude. Nope, superstar. I'm just checking these guys off. And out of 125 guys, we picked out 14 guys.
Yeah. That's bad.
Out of a state of 15,000 wrestlers, 120 answered, and only 14 was chosen. Me and you should have been sitting there trying to knock our heads out with Donnie York and the rest of the guys trying to figure out, who to put on card because they're all so good. But it was like we were trying to muddle through the worst workers to figure out who was the best, and it should be the opposite way. Yeah.
Yep.
And
it's not.
It's not. And and I see, and I don't know if I blame it on the promoters. I don't know if I blame it on the trainers. I don't know if I blame it on the workers. Yeah, because I retired about 5 or 6 years ago. Wrestling was booming. I mean, everybody was putting on shows. I come back, and I think there's nobody running between 3 counties.
Well, see, Thumper, the problem with that is why independent are not running no more. Is why would you go pay $5 or $10 to go see a show when you can sit at home watch it for free for 5 out of the 7 days a week?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's what's bad about it is it's more on TV now, so they're gonna sit home watch it for free, get drunk there, eat popcorn or whatever they want to do, and then they're not gonna pay the $5 or $10 to go see a show.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest beef. But the reason we're putting this on is we want the people to come back and give us their take on what happened to professional wrestling. And it's just terrible now.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh yeah, because I think maybe by us putting this out there now, and don't get me wrong, we're not destroying professional wrestling because I mean, Lord knows, we love it. I mean, we're promoters. We've trained. We've worked the rings. We've worked as managers, referees. You name it, we've done it. We've worked on green crews. We want to get pro wrestling not back to territories because I think that's the best thing that could happen when territories went down. But get back to where we can get the fans into it like they used to. I remember when I played a bad guy. You was in the ring. If you wasn't getting bottles and cans thrown at you and somebody trying to jump on you, beat you down, you wasn't doing your job.
Right.
Nowadays, the heels aren't heels anymore. The babies ain't babies no more. It's like, they're going to do this quick jump in, jump out, and then pat themselves on the back, and it just, excuse me, I don't understand it. I remember one no that you never do. You never walked in the back to look at the promoter and said, how was my match? Promoter in my day would tell you, it sucked. And he'd tell you everything that was wrong with it. Never tell you what was right with it, but tell you every mistake you made in there. Nowadays, if you do that, they're like, well, we just won't work here no more. We got other federation we can go to. So they'll go to some little jabroni federation where the promoter don't know how to be a promoter, and they'll all get behind him for $20 or $10 or $5 and don't even try to push themselves no more.
Right.
Yeah, It's like too many people watch WWE and said, "Oh wow, let's make WWE." And what? Even the WWE don't even make no sense half the time.
No, they're running out of storylines
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
keep on doing over and over the same
yeah.
storylines. And another thing that we need to bring up, Thump, is belts.
But yeah, belts. Yeah,
Why? I mean, somebody brings out a belt, brand new belt, and they like it. Oh, put it on me. Put it on me.
yeah.
Have you earned it? No, you haven't earned
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, you didn't earn it.
You know, you just want it put on it. Why does people want the belts so bad?
Yep. I don't understand. I remember, back when I even saw a belt, I was like, I'd like someday I don't wear that belt. Maybe 3 years later, when I've actually earned that belt, I got to carry it. And that's like we had a similar incident until I told everybody, yeah, you gotta fight Donnie York for this belt, and they're like, oh well, what other belts you got? And I'm sitting there going, really? You don't want to wrestle the man for the belt? Yeah. And I thought it was funny because after they found out they had to work for the belt, they want to see what else other belts that they could go and grab. I'm like, really? Yeah. It just it amazes me how they just figure they walk in and they should just have it handed to them.
Yeah, they don't want to work for it
Yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah.
why is it so important to carry a belt? Now, to me,
Mhm.
if you're out there in that ring, giving it 110%, you're there for the fans
Yes. Yes.
because that more money to bring in, the more you get paid.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just worrying about belts and you're not worrying about the fans, guess what?
Yeah. Exactly.
I've wrestled between thousands of people, and I
Mhm.
also went to Georgia against 5 people.
That's that Baltimore accent. That
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah, Baltimore, Maryland accent. From 5 people up to thousands of people, and it's just you go out there and you do it 110%,
Yeah.
because Thump,
Yeah.
each time that somebody steps in that ring, it's a bigger chance that you will end up being paralyzed
Oh yeah.
or
Yeah.
even killed in the ring.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the thing about it, though, is that these guys are not getting trained enough, and you can tell the difference.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 You definitely. Yeah. Well, and that's another thing that amazes me. Yeah. These guys, we used to go out there and we thought it was a privilege just to step into the ring. Because back in the day, you only really could work for Ford Federation because you had to pay your dues at every federation you went to, and it wasn't just one-time thing. Yeah. So you picked out 4 good federations because that was a full-time job,
Yeah.
paying your dues to get on that card. So when you actually stepped in that ring, man, that was the best feeling. I mean, wow, I made it to the ring. I'm here to pump up the fans. I'm here to work. Yeah, and if you got paid, man, that was even more of a plus. Yeah. So so you had to start from the bottom and work all the way to the top to get that belt. So you knew when you had that belt, you were carrying the federation on your shoulder, and you earned that belt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. But the biggest thrill of them all is when you get a little kid like this. Thump, thump. Can
Yeah.
I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph?
Or chase you through Publix down after you're working on your car, like, I know you, I know you,
Yeah.
I know you.
I've
And like,
seen
no,
you in
you
the
don't.
ring.
He says, can I get your autograph? Get away from the kid, you bother me. And finally, you go out there to the car and you get one of those paper Xerox copied pictures, you sign it, and you hand it to him. And then 15 years later, the kid still got it up on his wall, and now that kid's a grown man.
Yeah.
But that was the most. But see, these guys nowadays don't understand that. Back in them days, it was like a big honor. I think it was for me and the kid, even though I couldn't show it because you still have to be who you are. For this little kid wanting your autograph, he didn't care if it was on a receipt or a napkin or what it was. You were his hero.
Right.
Now there's no heroes left.
Well, and another
Yeah.
thing, the biggest thing is it's happened to professional wrestling. I'm
Yeah.
not going to mention no names because
Yeah.
they have passed.
Yeah.
So, but we've had a couple people got on national TV and said wrestling's entertainment.
Yeah.
And I know back in the day, you used to have people would actually fight you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because they thought this stuff was real.
Oh
But
yeah.
now you got on national TV saying this is entertainment,
Yeah.
and that ruined it for
Yeah.
independent too.
And that's one thing that's always bothered me. Okay, because you know my injuries and I know your injuries. I mean, with my back, I have no cartilage in my lower back and three herniated discs and rheumatoid arthritis, and I didn't get that riding a bicycle. Yeah, I mean I didn't get it where I have to walk with a cane all the time, just by playing tic tac toe with my wife. So who is somebody to sit there and get on TV and say, "Oh, pro wrestling's fake"? Well, then come get in the ring and I will show you how real it really is. Yeah,
And that's what irritates me the most is when they find out that I did professional wrestling.
yeah,
The first question they ask,
yeah.
okay, tell me the truth now. You retired, tell me the truth. Is it fake? Okay, well, you get in the ring and you get on that top ring rope and you jump off at 16 foot in the air
Yep.
coming down on that mat and you tell me that's fake.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you get somebody over 200, 300 pounds
Coming
coming
down
off
on
that
top
top
of you.
ringer,
Yeah.
yeah,
It,
that's
it's
not
gonna
fake.
hurt. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing that gets me. A punch is still a punch. A kick is still a kick. When you hit that mat, and no, there is no shock absorbers. It does not feel like a orthopedic mattress. It is steel and plywood with only about that much padding on it. You go jump on there and see what you think about it. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, you'll get up like, oh, my neck hurts, my back hurts. And I used to have students would come in like, and they look at me and said, well, I know wrestling's not real, so go ahead and teach me how to do it. I'd haul off and punch him in the mouth and say, how did that feel? Well, that hurt. Well, we're not ballet, I mean, we are contact sport. And then after you throw them around the ring for you, I had this one girl get up there one time, and I thought it was funny because Raz, his girlfriend, he was up there training, and Raz is about 285
Yeah.
pounds, and I was about,
He won them farm boys.
oh yeah, I was probably about 198, about 200 pounds, and she looked at her, she said, I can't believe that man's beating you all over the place. As little as she says, I could take him, and he looked at her, he says, really? He says, Thump, do you want to let her in? Let her on in. He says, he won't hit me because I'm a woman. I said, honey, this is pro wrestling. You're going to get hit. You're
Yep.
going to get smacked. I'm going to throw you around. For the first 10 minutes, I took her own hands and her own feet and beat her with them. And then after I was done, she looked at Raz and says, are you going to help me? He said, if you're dumb enough to step in that square with him, you're going to take what you get. I was like, with me as a teacher, I cannot let up on these guys because I have to teach them how to protect. Protect yourselves. Okay? Protect. There's a reason, like MMA, they teach you how to protect yourself. Okay? Just like we teach in pro wrestling how to protect yourself. And she stepped out, she says, pro wrestling ain't fake, is it? I was like, did it feel fake? She said, no, it did not. And I was like, thank you very much. Yeah.
I went to the Great Malenko's wrestling school, and we had like 4 guys from Florida State football come in. They lasted 30 minutes and walked out and said, I can't take it anymore.
I remember Reggie Brown, and if Reggie, if you're watching, you'll remember this. He called me down there one day. He was running a school. He said, Thump, he said, I got 25 guys here. I'm like, well, you won't when I'm done. And, I walk in there, and all these guys, man, they were stepping in the ring with Thump. Yeah, the next day, only one kid came back. They're like, he's too rough. And I'm like, well, I mean, come on, guys. You're in contact. You're in a contact sport.
Yeah.
I mean, he says, well, he says, Thump this, teach you right. And I don't get that because what they expect we were going to do is sit down and play patty cakes or something. I mean, come on, guys, if you're looking across from me, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to smack you. I'm going to throw my foot in your face. And yes, I'm going to kick you in places where babies are born. I mean, I'm going to do anything I can to win. Yeah, because and I know pro wrestling was based off of martial arts. Now, you go up to a martial artist and tell him martial arts is fake and see what he gives you.
Yeah, you be looking at the stars laying on your
Exactly.
back.
Exactly. And I remember, when I looked at Donnie York in the ring and told him that pro wrestling was fake. Now I'd have found myself picking myself up off the floor.
Right.
Yeah. But but get back on topics. I have to go back. The more I think about it, and I have to blame it on the training. Because why is pro wrestling bad? It all starts from the person that trained them. How many guys nowadays don't know how to work the mic or the camera? We see that all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And like I say, we've been in it for a long time when we go to different shows. And
Yeah.
we can tell who's been trained
Oh
and
yeah.
who's half trained.
Especially when you're saying, "Look at the camera," and they're looking over there. Look at the camera, and they're looking
Yeah,
over
I
there.
even go over there and try to turn them that way, and they still,
Yeah.
yeah, they like that audience.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, sometimes it's more than just the fans. You actually have more fans out there, that you have to relate to, and they don't understand that. Yeah. We heard a few guys say, I don't know if I can talk on a mic. Why? I just get so nervous. And you're in pro wrestling. Yeah. Our pro wrestlers are used to be. Well, now they are. They're some of the most conceited people I've seen. But nowadays, I think they went from conceited to superstardom. Yeah. Uh, but, we were conceited, but we also knew what we could do. Yeah. And we earned that.
Well, not only that, I remember where I come from and where I've been trained, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
never get a big head.
Exactly. We
And
always
stuff.
respected where we came
Yeah.
from.
And I tell you, somebody else that it respects the business and can work too, and that's Joe Blackburn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell he's been trained right.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been in WCW too, so
Oh, yeah.
he knows how to work.
Even though he is a wild card,
Yeah,
he is a wild card, the man can work.
Yeah.
He really can,
and it's
yeah.
another thing that I see Thump that
But he's not allowed to sit behind the commentating with the table with us no more.
no he now unless you want to go somewhere.
Exactly.
But it's another thing I see Thump that it's changed a lot from back in the day to now. Is some of these wrestlers and even referees
Mhm.
standing out there watching the matches.
Yes, yes, I see that a lot. They're all marking out for each other, and they're sitting here. You see two people in the ring can't work to save their life anyway, or they steal each other's characters. We've done seen that where everybody steals everybody's character. I'm like, hey, it's called creativity. There's a thing in training that's called character. Hello, character. Where they teach you how to create and work the character. And
Yeah.
everything. And I'm sitting here and I see two guys in the ring, and you see the whole back locker room standing outside the curtain. Oh my God, did you see that? I can't believe he did it. And I'm like, really? Come on, you can do the same thing, guys. We're all trained the same way. We're all trained. Well, hold on. I have to back up because we're not all trained the same way. Because if we all trained the same way, they would know how to work a microphone, and they would know how to work their crowds, and they would know how to work cameras. Okay, 90% of them don't know how to do that. So I don't know if they went to some Joe Blow down here that had no training himself, or did 3 weeks in training and said, hey, I'm going to teach pro wrestling. I don't know. But truly trained pro wrestlers can work the ring, work a crowd. Whether it's 5 or 5,000, they can work it. They'll work a camera, a microphone. They don't mind doing a manager, a referee, a wrestler, whatever the job consists of. If the fans don't like you, you're going to show the fans how much you don't like them. If they like you, you're going to go around and hug necks, high five. You're going to be just like a politician. You're going to kiss babies and everything else.
Well, I'll tell you one the guy that if I had to been trained, I'd have him train me. He also went to Malenko School, and you can tell. And as soon as I say this, you'll know who I'm talking about. He's got an excellent announcer, referees, and workers too.
You're talking about Frankie Reyes, ain't you?
Correct, Frankie Reyes.
Yeah. But I still like to pick on Sam stuff. I love to to pick on
I'm
her.
gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna wear blindfolds next time I go to the show. But wrestling fans, we want your comments on what happened to professional wrestling. And I know the cameraman's saying to hurry up. So,
he
but
always.
there's one thing we need to put out there. We want your help on, and I'm gonna let Thumper talk about it for a few minutes.
Okay.
Is our letter call letters?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
What it was is we are going to a wider brand of audience. I know for years we've been known as Christian Family Wrestling Federation. We want to keep the call letters CFWE, but we want everybody to give opinions, and I don't want no smart alecks from people putting rude remarks on call letters. I want actual legitimate call letters that we can actually put the words with the call letters. Yeah. Remember, it was Christian Family Wrestling Entertainment. I thought about Championship Family Wrestling Entertainment, but and you've had a few ideas, but we want to see your opinion, and the one that we get the most of. That's what we're going to change to. We'll still be the same Christian-based organization.
right.
Yeah. But we just feel like we need to branch out wider, since we're going, United States wide now, and pretty soon probably national,
Yeah.
So we want something that we can take completely with us all the way to national. So leave a comment, and we'll check, this is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere else we can stick it. So this is for everybody, fans, wrestlers, everybody. Yeah, we want to get your feedback. So at that, we're going to say good night, God bless, and we're going to bring another one in soon. Leave your comments about what happened to pro wrestling, your opinion, and what we should change our name to. So just remember, we're keeping CFWE. So you have to figure out what goes along with that. So good night, God bless. Y'all pray for us, we'll pray for you. Everybody, have a great night.